earlier, I talked to social commentator Mal Fletcher and asked him what he thought about the ban.
Well, I don't think it's such a bad idea maybe to consider more public spaces opening up a block for mobile phones. I mean, I think we should continue to use digital tech to its full potential, but only insofar as it helps us enhance human potential. And the thing about phones today is, of course, Mike, they're not just phones, are they? They're sophisticated computers. They open up all kinds of opportunities, but they're also, to a degree, doorways into distraction. Not too long ago, 20% of British divorce cases were citing Facebook as a contributing factor in marriage breakdown because people were spending more time online with their friends than they were with their partner. And psychologists have a word for that now called absent presence. And what I find really intriguing is while that problem's growing in society, we've got leading high-tech companies looking for ways to form innovation hubs, physical communities in which they share ideas together at close range. It seems that they recognise there's this growing drive for high-tech, but it also brings with it a greater need for high-touch. And sometimes we just need physical proximity to share ideas, to share thoughts, to share values. It's very important that we build those face-to-face human relationships.
So if we continue this digital love affair then, Mal, how do you think we're going to end up as a race?
Well, I think, the next thing we'll face, of course, is the problem of automation, which is a sort of extension of the digital revolution. Already, the House of Lords has published a finding that 35% of British jobs might go in the next 20 years as a result of automation. You go to some phone stores in Japan now and you'll have what's called a social bot welcoming you at the door. These are machines that can biometrically read your emotions and respond to or emulate those emotions. And so it's not a bad thing to be using the technologies, but we need to give a lot of thought to the future implications of those technologies. Otherwise, we're just going to build faster machines to take us absolutely nowhere.
Is there anything we can do about this, though? There isn't really, is there?
Well, I think there is. I think, the future is not a product of technology. It's a product of how we choose to use it. So it comes back to human choice at the end of the day and human emotion, largely. I mean, there's an issue today with things like transactional relationships with machines. My wife and I have been married for 36 years this month, and when we got married, we formed a transactional relationship. She'll remember some things, I'll remember some things, and together we kind of get it right together. And now we're doing that with machines. We don't remember what we learn on the internet so much as rely on the machine to remember the information. So we store it in Evernote or Pocket or some other software platform. And because we don't store it in long-term memory, it doesn't produce benefits in terms of future innovation, because new ideas are always born out of connections between old ideas born in the brain. So we can discipline the way we use machines. That's what I'm saying. We don't need to stop using them. We just need to be more aware of the possibility of distraction and things like that.
Yeah? And where else other than a pub might you want to see a ban on smartphones then?
Well, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea, for example, to put some blackout zones in some school study zones, because this evidence of transactional relationships means that young people aren't remembering information, which is important. I think also coffee shops, cafes, even big corporations now are looking at setting up zones within their offices where people are either discouraged or, in a sense, forced not to use digital. The Bank of America last year did a big study, found that its most productive workers were the ones who mingled the most. So it refashioned all of its coffee areas, making them more appealing so that people would actually leave their desks to have coffee together. And in the short term, it led to a boost of something like 10% of productivity across the company. Our brains need downtime. We need to assimilate what we're learning and, again, to build it into memory. So even big companies now, in Germany, there are companies that are saying, we're going to switch your email account off at the end of your shift at night and turn it on again before you start work again in the morning, because we recognize that time starvation is affecting you. It's affecting your performance.
But a pub that blocks mobile phone signals is only going to be full of older people, isn't it?
Well, I'm not so sure. I think, older people hook up online as much as younger people now. In fact, the biggest uptake on Facebook today is over 50s, which is why younger people are dropping off Facebook. So, I think there's a growing engagement with technology for over 50s and over 60s today. But I think younger people, too, are recognizing that sometimes I've just got to put my phone down and perhaps not engage with it. And I think we might find younger people are actually welcoming places where they can go, where no one else is chattering on phones around them. It's a bit like the debate about smoking, non-smoking areas in cafes a few years ago, or even on aeroplanes further back still. And I think we're going to see some of that happen. I don't think we'll see widespread public spaces saying, well, look, we're going to close all internet use. But I think it's good to have the option.
And would you go for a drink in this pub?
I probably would. I might not frequent it all the time because I might want to use my smartphone now and again. But I'd like to know that it's there.
Mal Fletcher talking to me earlier. I would go for a pint in that pub. There's plenty of stuff in the papers today pointing out that the average Briton, and this is because of smartphones, the average Briton spends a whole day a week online. 25 hours a week online because we've now got that access in the palm of our hand.